Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Professional Billing Channel. I am Britt Johnson. I help new and growing PB analysts understand Epic without the overwhelm. Let's get into it. You guys, it is the day after the Memorial Day holiday. I am tired. I don't want to be logged on. I am still recovering from a very long weekend of hanging out with family, hanging out with friends, baseball, and gardening. We did a lot of gardening yesterday. I am not a gardener, but I got my butt out there. My husband helped me with a whole bunch of stuff. He is a gardener. That man has a green thumb. I look at a plant and it dies, okay? But we wanted our yard to look nice, so got out there and helped him, and so worth it. I just want to go sit in, we did the front yard yesterday. I just want to go sit in the front yard and stare at my plants and work on my laptop. But it would look really weird if I was sitting in my front lawn facing my garden working on a laptop. I don't know, maybe it wouldn't. Yeah, so let's get into it. I wanted to hop on here, make a video. It's been a couple days. I'm really falling off my schedule. Work has been working. So I am going to make a better effort to have videos for you guys daily, because I know there's some people who truly do benefit from my videos. So with that said, today I want to talk about doing the due diligence for your clients. Again, rather if you're, let me back up. I am all over the place. Even if you are working for, or if you're working for one client versus multiple clients like me, Community Connect, it is so important to do the due diligence for your client. You are an analyst, yes. But with being an analyst, you are also customer service. I have been with many organizations, I've been on many teams, and maybe not my direct teams that I've been on, but other application teams that I've gotten to know, I have met or become acquaintances with some analysts who just don't care. They're like, these end users are stupid, or these managers are dumb. They don't know what they're talking about. I'm just going to do my work, ignore their emails. It'll be done when it's done. I'm not cool with that, because first of all, hey, now, how big is your ego, dude? Like, you think you're like that great? Stop. And put yourself in a manager's position. And not just put like on the other side of IT, not like a fool, I'm a manager, or I'm a fool, I'm an end user, but just on their side of things. If you're doing your workflow and there's something you're not familiar with and you're asking questions to your team, you're asking questions to your manager or whatever, and you just can't figure it out, you're going to put in a ticket because you want IT to help you figure out what's going on, what you're missing, or maybe there is truly something broken in the system that IT needs to address. You're not going to want to submit a ticket to have it not acknowledged at all, to have it sit in a queue, and you're not getting any kind of communication, no kind of movement on it. You're going to be frustrated and pissed and like feel like you're completely stuck, because just like end user, or I don't even know where I was going with that, because end users don't know what they don't know. That goes for everybody. If you don't know it, you don't know it. You don't know what you don't know, right? So I would be, if I was the end user or the manager, I put in a ticket and there's no movement, there's no communication, I would be annoyed. And then, you just automatically get this email like, this is complete. Like 4 days later or a week later or even a month later, and you're like, well, it would have been nice to have a little communication, like what was happening? What was I missing? Was the system doing something wrong? Is there missing build? Is there something that I need to know for next time if my coworker or if my employee runs into the same issue? Like, do your due diligence. Even if you're like, oh my gosh, this is the dumbest ticket I've ever got. Like, I can't even believe I'm spending my time doing this, whatever. Humor your client. Be nice. Have that customer service, because that's how you're going to build relationships. And building relationships, I mean, it's just as important as doing the job. you're building relationships with these managers, with these end users, it gets easier to talk to them. You start learning their personalities and learning how they learn, how they take in information, and it gets easier to work the tickets, to address the tickets. Because if you're constantly having this like cold relationship between clients and managers, and I guess clients are managers, whatever, this cold relationship between you and your clients, it's going to be, and to me, I feel like it's going to be more rough to do your job, because you can't be like, you know, hey Claire, got your ticket, just want to let you know that this is going on. I'm working on some other really high priority things right now. Your ticket will be, I'm planning to get your ticket, blah, blah, blah. You know, you just have that easygoing conversation, and there's less like friction. Okay. So that's part one of doing your due diligence, is having, you know, just that basic customer service skill mindset. You know, we are here for our clients. That is what we do as analysts. Again, like I said, I've met some analysts who are just, I know it sounds, this is the only way I know how to say it. They're just so like full of themselves. They're just into themselves. Like, I do the best work. I don't know why I'm getting this ticket. This is stupid. I'm not even going to acknowledge the client. I've literally met people like that. So yeah, have that customer service. I think it's so important. I don't know. Maybe I'm a different kind of analyst. I don't know. The other part of doing your due diligence for your client is with that ticket investigation. So I had a ticket that, you know, when I read over it, and I kind of glanced at what was going on in the system, my gut was right. It ended up being right, but my first thought was like, okay, so this is just a timing issue. The system is working correctly, but the client's thinking that things are splitting or whatever. I'm going to talk to them about what's happening and talk about some options. And we ended up doing a temporary charge hold for this client. And then, which wasn't necessary because everything was working correctly, but to ease their frustration during their work, we created that work queue. And then I had another ticket that came in that it was provider education. Again, I had a hunch. I was like, okay, looking at this doesn't seem like anything's wrong. This is an education issue. I was right, but I dug into it for them. I was pulling up examples. I was redoing the scenarios. I just put a little bit more effort into it, even though I knew it was a true education issue. And the ticket was open for a while. We discussed, and you know, there were some things that they weren't understanding. Maybe I wasn't explaining things clearly enough, but in the end, it did come out to be provider education. I gave instructions for the provider on how to do certain things in the system to produce certain outcomes. Talked about that with the manager. Talked about that with the person who submitted the ticket, and you know, we got it closed. Everybody was on the same page. Yeah, I could have easily been like, nope, this is provider education. I'm not looking into this anymore because I've got other things to do. But I didn't do that because the clients were not convinced yet that it was provider education. They were really stuck on, we think something is wrong with whatever. So I took that extra time to dig into this ticket, to pull up scenarios, to provide screenshots, and just go above and beyond for them, you know? So that's part 2 of doing your due diligence. You guys, what is today? Today is Tuesday. Sorry, I just got a message on Teams. This is real life, y'all. I'm making sure I don't have a certain meeting, and I don't thank you, God. Okay, sometimes you just get those meetings where you're like, dread. So yeah, doing your doing your due diligence for your client is so important. Again, even if you get a ticket and you're like, that's provider error, that's user error, that's just how the system works, like, or whatever. Go above and beyond to help your client understand it. Don't just send back an email, you know, with provider error closing ticket. Like, give them something, okay? So I don't know. I've built so many relationships with my clients, and then I see, analysts, or I've seen analysts. I have not seen any of that where I'm at currently, which is just, I don't know. Things keep getting added to the list where I'm like, okay, you made the right decision going to this organization. Like, because at first I was apprehensive, because the workload is just insane. But once you get acclimated, it's just, everyone really vibes together. I don't know. That's a whole nother video. Anyway, but yeah, I've seen analysts who just, they don't care. They don't acknowledge their client. They're not friendly at all. They're very technical. So maybe customer service comes natural to some people and maybe it just doesn't. But maybe that's your area that you need to improve on. So yeah, do your due diligence. It's so important. It's so important. Make your client happy. It's just like, when you're in fast food or retail or whatever, customer comes first. They really do. They really do. And again, when you're building those relationships, if you get those provider education tickets or you get those user error tickets frequently, you'll have more confidence, or whatever another word for confidence is, I don't know, to reach out to your client and be like, hey, I've gotten, 3 tickets so far this month for the same issue, to help reduce my ticket load and help reduce your employees or your team's frustration. Here's what's going on. Here's what to catch. That way you don't have to take the time out to submit another ticket. You know how to fix it. You know how to move forward, and everybody wins, right? So yeah, okay. Do your due diligence. It's so important. It will go a long way. It makes you look better, makes your client feel better. Everyone's happy, and you can close your laptop or walk out of the office at the end of the day feeling accomplished, satisfied, and less overwhelmed. I mean, it all kind of ties into each other. So yeah, okay. So I hope everyone has a great week. It's Tuesday. Hopefully most of you had Monday off, so we got a short week, and I will talk to y'all later.